Chosen one, listen carefully. What I'm about to share is not for everyone. This message is urgent, sacred, and intentional. If you do not walk the divine path of God, if you are not seeking truth, obedience, and spiritual alignment, then this is not for you. Scroll away. But if you are a true follower of God, if your spirit has been restless, searching, questioning, and yearning for clarity, then understand this clearly. This message reached you at the exact moment heaven intended. Nothing is accidental here. God's chosen ones are being gathered, awakened, and reminded. And today, you are being reminded of something powerful. You have absolutely no clue who you truly are in the spirit world. You don't remember who you returned as. You don't see the full picture, but they do. The spiritual realm knows you. Your presence is recognized. Your spirit carries history. And that truth, when it settles into your heart, will change how you see your life, your struggles, and your purpose forever. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear is not meant to scare you. It's meant to heal you, steady you, and finally bring peace to questions you've carried silently for years. Before we continue, chosen ones, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this confirmation. And comment 777 below to declare that you are aligned, protected, and ready to receive what God is revealing now. The veil over your true spiritual identity. Chosen one, I want you to relax your shoulders for a moment and breathe. You are not confused because something is wrong with you. You are confused because something powerful has been intentionally hidden from you. And that distinction matters more than you realize. There is a veil over your true spiritual identity, not a punishment, not a mistake. A veil allowed by God Himself. And until you understand why that veil exists, you will keep questioning yourself in ways that quietly drain your peace. Let me speak plainly. If you remembered everything about who you truly are in the spirit world, this human life would become unbearable. You would not be able to function properly. You would struggle to relate to people. You would either withdraw completely or try to control what was never meant for you to control. So God, in His wisdom, covers the fullness of your identity until your mind, heart, and character are mature enough to carry it. This is where many chosen ones misunderstand themselves. They think forgetting means losing, but forgetting is not losing. Forgetting is protection. Your spirit did not come here empty. Your spirit came here full of experience, full of authority, full of understanding. But your mind had to be shielded because the mind is fragile, the ego is fragile, and the world you entered is not gentle with truth. This veil is why you've always felt like something about you was missing, but not in a broken way. It feels more like something is paused, like a memory just out of reach. You sense depth within yourself that you cannot fully explain. You know there's more to you than what people see. And sometimes that knowing frustrates you. That frustration is normal. It does not mean you are behind. It means your spirit is ahead of your awareness. Let me say something that may calm your heart. God does not reveal identity before He establishes stability. And stability is not about success, money, or recognition. Stability is emotional. Stability is humility. Stability is obedience when no one is watching. Stability is learning to live with questions without becoming bitter. Many chosen ones suffer because they try to remember before they are ready to carry the weight of remembrance. They want clarity without preparation, but clarity without grounding leads to pride, fear, or spiritual burnout. That is why your life has unfolded slowly in certain areas. That is why doors closed without explanation. That is why relationships fell apart without closure. God was keeping you human enough to stay teachable. The veil also exists because this world is hostile to spiritual truth. People would either misuse what you carry or attempt to destroy it. So God hides his greatest assets in plain sight. Ordinary backgrounds, ordinary struggles, ordinary lives, but extraordinary spirits. This is why your life may not look impressive on the outside, yet feels intense on the inside. You feel everything deeply. You notice what others ignore. You carry emotional weight that isn't always yours, and you often wonder why life feels heavier for you than for others. It's because you are not here to float through life. You are here to anchor something. Another reason for the veil is mercy. Yes, mercy. If you fully remembered who you were, you would also remember who you were not allowed to save. You would remember losses that would crush your heart. You would remember responsibilities that would overwhelm your nervous system. So God gives you amnesia with grace. He lets your spirit remember in fragments, in feelings, in intuition, in quiet knowing, not in full images or titles, because this life is about faith, not memory. This is why chosen ones often feel disconnected from labels. You don't fit neatly into boxes. You don't fully resonate with the systems of the world. You respect order, but you don't worship structure. You value truth more than comfort, and that makes life confusing sometimes. You ask yourself questions like, why do I feel older than my age? Why do I crave meaning more than attention? Why does shallow conversation exhaust me? Why do I feel responsible even when I didn't ask to be? Those questions come from the veil rubbing against your awareness. But hear me carefully now. The veil does not mean you are blocked. It means you are guided. Your spirit knows exactly what it is doing, even when your mind doubts. That is why you survive things that should have broken you. That is why you recover faster than you expect. That is why you sense danger before it arrives. That is why you feel pulled away from certain people without logical reasons. Your spirit is not asleep. It is disciplined. The problem comes when chosen ones interpret the veil as rejection. They think, if I were truly chosen, wouldn't God tell me everything? No. If you were not chosen, you would be told nothing at all. Silence is not absence. Silence is training. Even Jesus lived under limitation while on earth. He did not operate in full glory at all times. He submitted to process. He submitted to time. And he trusted the Father completely. So when you feel like you're walking in partial understanding, remember this: God is not withholding from you. He is protecting what is sacred within you. The veil will lift gradually, not all at once. And when it does, it will not feel dramatic or overwhelming. It will feel familiar, like remembering something you always knew but didn't have words for. Until then, your job is not to force revelation. Your job is to stay grounded, to stay humble, to stay faithful, to stay kind in a world that rewards cruelty. Because the ones who are truly chosen are not identified by what they remember. They are identified by how they live while they don't. And you, chosen one, are doing better than you think. And there is something else you must understand, chosen one. The veil is not only spiritual, it is emotional, it is psychological. It is woven into your experiences, your upbringing, your disappointments, and even your unanswered prayers. God did not just hide your identity from the world, He hid it from your own ego. Because ego is impatient. Ego wants titles before character. Ego wants power before wisdom. Ego wants answers before obedience. And God does not entrust eternal things to unstable hands. That is why your journey has been humbling. That is why you've had moments where you felt small, overlooked, or underestimated. Not to shame you, but to soften you. To teach you how to listen. To teach you restraint. To teach you compassion for people who don't understand you. Many chosen ones struggle with this phase because it feels unfair. You know you carry more. You feel it. Yet life keeps placing you in positions that seem beneath your capacity. That is not demotion. That is refinement. Gold is not refined in comfort. It is refined in fire. And fire does not announce itself as preparation. It feels like loss. It feels like delay. It feels like confusion. But the veil also serves another sacred purpose. It allows you to live by faith, not by certainty. Faith builds trust. Trust builds alignment. And alignment is what activates divine timing. If God revealed everything too early, you would rely on memory instead of relationship. You would lean on what you were instead of who He is. And chosen ones are not sent to glorify themselves. They are sent to reflect God. So when your mind questions and your heart aches, do not panic, do not rush, do not compare your journey to anyone else's. Comparison is the quickest way to dishonor your assignment. Instead, anchor yourself in this truth. What is hidden is not lost. What is delayed is not denied. What is veiled is not forgotten. God knows exactly who you are. Heaven knows exactly who you are. And when the time is right, you will know too. Until then, peace is your protection, and patience is your power. Who you were before you came here. Now listen closely. Chosen one. This is where many people become either anxious or overly imaginative, so I want to ground you firmly in truth. We are not here to fantasize. We are here to understand, to heal, and to steady your spirit. Before you came into this world, you were not random. You were not an afterthought. You were not sent because God ran out of options. You were sent because you were trusted. That alone should shift something inside you. Who you were before you came here is not about a name, a rank, or a dramatic title. The spiritual realm does not function like human hierarchies. It functions on responsibility, obedience, and alignment. So when I speak of who you were, I'm not talking about status. I'm talking about function. Your spirit was familiar with order, with purpose, with listening, with carrying weight without complaining. That is why even now you struggle when things feel chaotic or meaningless. Disorder unsettles you deeply, not because you are controlling, but because your spirit remembers harmony. Many chosen ones misunderstand this inner discomfort. They think they are too sensitive, too serious, too intense. But the truth is simpler. You have lived with purpose before, and purposeless living feels foreign to you. Before you came here, your spirit was not distracted by trivial things. That is why you've never been fully satisfied with shallow success, empty pleasure, or surface-level relationships. You can enjoy life, yes, but you cannot live without meaning. This is also why you've always felt a strange sense of responsibility, even as a child. You noticed things early. You worried early. You carried emotional weight that was never assigned to you. And people often leaned on you, even when you were young. That didn't come from trauma alone. Trauma may have amplified it, but it did not create it. Your spirit came into this world already familiar with stewardship. Another truth you need to hear is this. You did not come here to be admired. You came here to be effective. And effectiveness in God's kingdom rarely looks glamorous. This is why many chosen ones are placed in ordinary environments. Modest beginnings, limited resources, families that could not fully see them. God does this deliberately, because admiration feeds ego, but obscurity builds depth. If you had been celebrated early, you might have confused attention with purpose. And God was not willing to risk that. So instead, He allowed you to feel unseen, misunderstood, sometimes even dismissed. Not to break you, but to teach you how to stand without applause. That lesson matters more than you know. Before you came here, your spirit understood submission. And submission is not weakness, it is alignment. It is knowing when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to stay silent. That is why your life has included long seasons of waiting. Waiting for clarity, waiting for recognition, waiting for relief. Those seasons were not wasted. They were familiar territory for your spirit. This is also why you have such a strong reaction to injustice. You may not always express it outwardly, but inside, injustice unsettles you deeply. You cannot simply get over things that violate truth. Your conscience is loud because it has been trained. And let me tell you something gently. Not everyone has that. Many people can compromise easily. They can adjust their values to fit convenience. They can ignore wrong if it benefits them. But you struggle with that, even when compromise would make your life easier. That is not stubbornness. That is spiritual memory surfacing. Before you came here, your spirit was not driven by self-interest, and that is why self-centered environments drain you now. You can navigate them, but they exhaust you. You also carry an unusual sensitivity to God's presence. You may not always articulate it in religious language, but you sense when something is off. You sense when something is aligned, and you sense when silence is required. This sensitivity is not something you learned. It is something you brought with you. And yet, God did not allow you to remember all of this clearly. Because remembering without maturity would turn sensitivity into arrogance. It would turn responsibility into burden, and it would turn obedience into entitlement. So instead, He let your spirit lead quietly while your mind learned slowly. This is why your growth has felt internal more than external. You've changed in ways people cannot always see. Your patience has deepened, your discernment has sharpened, your tolerance for nonsense has decreased, and your desire for peace has increased. Those are not signs of aging, those are signs of alignment. Before you came here, your spirit was not impulsive, and now, when you act impulsively, you feel immediate discomfort. That discomfort is not condemnation, it is correction. Your spirit knows when you are out of alignment. This is also why you are deeply affected by spiritual teaching that is manipulative or fear-based. Something in you resists it. You don't respond well to control masked as holiness. You crave truth that liberates, not truth that intimidates. That discernment did not develop overnight. Let me be clear about something important. Being chosen does not mean being superior. It means being accountable. And accountability is heavy. That is why God does not awaken everyone in the same way. You were trusted with restraint, with patience, with depth, with the ability to walk without full explanation. And that trust is still active. So when you look at your life and wonder why it feels more demanding than others, why you feel called to higher standards even when no one is watching, understand this. You are responding to something ancient within you. Not ancient in time, but ancient in wisdom. You were not sent here to escape humanity. You were sent here to live it with integrity, to anchor truth quietly, to carry light without announcing it. And even though you do not remember who you were in detail, your life is already reflecting it. Which means this: you are not trying to become who you were. You are remembering how to live like it. And that, chosen one, is exactly where you are supposed to be right now. There is also a reason you have always been drawn to solitude, even if you enjoy people. Solitude does not scare you. In fact, too much noise unsettles you. Your spirit restores itself in stillness because it remembers communion without distraction. You were not formed to be constantly stimulated. You were formed to be centered. That is why silence speaks to you. That is why prayer, reflection, and quiet moments feel natural, even when life becomes loud. Your spirit recognizes that stillness is not emptiness. It is alignment. Before you came here, you were not rushed. And now, whenever life forces you into frantic living, your nervous system resists. You feel overwhelmed, anxious, or disconnected. That reaction is not weakness. It is your spirit signaling that you are drifting from your natural rhythm. You are also familiar with boundaries, and in this life, you are learning to re-establish them. Not walls, but sacred limits. Limits that protect your peace, your energy, and your calling. This is why you are learning to say no without guilt. Why you are stepping back from people who drain you. Why you no longer chase approval the way you once did. These shifts are not personality changes, they are reminders. And as these reminders surface, understand this: you are not becoming distant, you are becoming precise. You are not withdrawing from the world, you are positioning yourself within it. And God is watching every step, not with judgment, but with deep approval. Why you returned this time and not before? Chosen one, this question has lived quietly in your heart for a long time, even if you've never spoken it out loud. Why now? Why this generation? Why this world in its current state? Why not earlier, when things seemed simpler, cleaner, less chaotic? The answer is not random, and it is not cruel. You returned now because this era requires discernment more than brilliance, endurance more than enthusiasm, and depth more than display. Other times in history needed builders, warriors, or messengers who could stand in open opposition. This time needs anchors, and anchors do not move loudly, they hold. You were not sent into a peaceful world because peace does not reveal character. Pressure does, confusion does, moral fog does, and this world is full of it. Truth is diluted, meaning is blurred, faith is marketed, identity is fragmented, and many people are exhausted without knowing why. That is not accidental, and neither is your presence here. You return now because you have the capacity to live with tension without becoming bitter, to see hypocrisy without becoming cynical, to witness darkness without losing compassion. Those are not common abilities. They are cultivated over long spiritual preparation. This generation does not lack information. It lacks wisdom. It does not lack opinions. It lacks discernment. And God does not send chosen ones to compete with noise. He sends them to bring clarity. That is why your life has often felt misaligned with the pace of the world. You move slower internally, even when life pushes you to rush. You think deeper when others skim. You feel heavier because you notice more. This world rewards speed and surface. You were designed for accuracy and substance, and accuracy takes time. You are also sent now because the systems of this world are fragile. Many of the structures people trust are unstable. Institutions, relationships, values, everything is shifting. In times like this, God does not send those who need certainty. He sends those who can function in faith. You are learning to trust God without clear timelines, to obey without full explanations, to remain steady while others panic. That is not an accident. That is preparation for influence that does not rely on control. Let me say this clearly. Influence in this era does not come from position. It comes from presence, from how you show up, from how you respond under pressure, from how you treat people when you could easily withdraw. And that kind of influence cannot be rushed. You returned now because you can carry contradiction. You can hold truth and compassion at the same time. You can disagree without dehumanizing. You can set boundaries without becoming cold. And in a world that swings between extremes, that balance is rare. This is also why many chosen ones were born into environments that were unstable, emotionally inconsistent, or spiritually confusing. Not because God enjoys suffering, but because clarity is forged in contrast. You learned early what did not work, what did not heal, what did not align, and those lessons shaped your discernment. You were not sent to inherit comfort. You were sent to develop resilience. Another reason you returned now is because this era is saturated with distraction, constant noise, constant comparison, constant stimulation. Many people cannot hear God anymore, not because he stopped speaking, but because they stopped listening. You, however, still hear him, not always audibly, not always clearly, but you sense his direction, you feel his correction, you notice his pauses, and when you drift too far, something inside you pulls you back. That sensitivity is essential now. You were sent now because your spirit knows how to sit in silence, how to reflect, how to wait, how to move when prompted, not when pressured. And that posture is becoming increasingly rare. This is also why your life may feel delayed compared to others. You see people rushing ahead, achieving milestones, building lives that look impressive on the surface. And sometimes you wonder if you missed something. You didn't. God slows down those he intends to use deeply, because depth cannot be faked. And depth is what sustains others when things fall apart. You returned now because you are not dependent on applause. You may appreciate affirmation, but you do not require it to function. You can keep going when no one notices. You can remain faithful when results are slow. That kind of perseverance is essential in a time when many give up easily. Let me address something important here. Some chosen ones struggle with a quiet sense of grief they cannot explain, a feeling of loss without a clear cause, a nostalgia for something they cannot name. That grief does not mean you want to escape this life. It means your spirit remembers alignment, and alignment is rare here. But instead of resenting this world, you were sent to stabilize it in your own small sphere, through integrity, through consistency, through presence. You were not sent to fix everything. You were sent to be faithful where you are placed. Another reason you returned now is because this generation is learning painfully that self-reliance has limits. People are burning out, relationships are collapsing, identities are unraveling, and many are searching for something solid. You are solid, not perfect, but rooted. And rooted people become reference points in unstable times. You may not feel strong all the time. You may feel tired, disillusioned, overwhelmed. That does not disqualify you. It humanizes you, and humanity is essential to your assignment. God did not send you here as an untouchable spiritual figure. He sent you here as a bridge between truth and grace, between faith and reality, between conviction and compassion. That is why you've had to wrestle with doubts, why you've questioned God, why you've felt frustration with religious systems that lacked love. Those struggles refined your faith. They made it personal, honest, lived in. And that kind of faith speaks louder than perfection ever could. You returned now because you can hold responsibility without needing control. You can influence without dominating. You can lead without insisting on authority. And in a world addicted to power, that humility is revolutionary. Let me reassure you of something. You did not arrive late. You did not miss your moment. You are not behind schedule. Divine timing does not follow human calendars. Every delay in your life has been a layer of protection. Every setback has been a redirection. Every season of confusion has been an invitation to trust deeper. And here you are, still standing, still searching, still open. That alone tells me you were sent at the right time, because this world does not need more noise. It needs people who can stay steady when the noise gets loud. And that, chosen one, is exactly what you are learning to do, right now, in this moment, in this generation. They know who you are, even if you don't. Chosen one, this part of the message requires calm understanding, not fear. So settle your spirit and listen carefully. When I say they know who you are, I am not inviting paranoia, and I am not feeding fantasy. I am speaking about spiritual recognition, which operates quietly, instinctively, and often without words. You may not fully remember who you are in the spirit world, but recognition does not depend on your memory. It depends on your presence. Light does not need to announce itself. It is detected. This is why certain people react to you without explanation. Some feel drawn to you instantly. Others feel threatened, irritated, or uncomfortable, even when you've done nothing wrong. That reaction is not about your personality. It is about what your spirit carries. People sense depth before they understand it, and depth unsettles those who live on the surface. You've probably noticed this pattern throughout your life. You enter a room quietly, yet something shifts. Conversations change. Energy tightens or softens. Eyes linger. Tension appears without cause. And you find yourself wondering, what did I do? Often the answer is simple. You existed. Your spirit carries authority, even when your voice is gentle. And authority does not require dominance to be felt. It requires alignment. This is why manipulation rarely works on you for long. You may tolerate it briefly out of compassion, but something in you eventually resists. You sense when truth is being twisted. You feel when intentions are impure, and you cannot unsee it once you notice it. Those who rely on control feel exposed around people like you. Now let me clarify who they are. They are not a single group. They are not always conscious of what they sense. Sometimes they are insecure people. Sometimes they are wounded people. Sometimes they are spiritually aware but misaligned. Sometimes they are simply people who have learned to survive by dominance rather than truth. Not every negative reaction you receive is spiritual warfare. Some of it is emotional immaturity colliding with integrity. But the pattern matters. You have likely experienced being underestimated and targeted at the same time, dismissed publicly, resisted privately. That contradiction confuses many chosen ones, but it makes sense spiritually. People may not know why you unsettle them, but they know that you do. This is also why gossip has followed you without your participation, why your name enters rooms you've never been in, why assumptions are made about your intentions. Light exposes insecurity, even when it stays silent. And here is something important you must hear. This recognition does not mean you should isolate yourself, nor does it mean you should confront everyone who misunderstands you. Discernment is not reaction. Discernment is restraint. You are not here to defend your identity. God does that. Another sign that they know who you are is how people test your boundaries. They push, they provoke, they see how much you will tolerate. Not because you are weak, but because they sense you are strong and want to measure it. And often, you pass these tests not by overpowering others, but by choosing peace. That frustrates those who thrive on conflict. Let me say this clearly. Darkness does not fear noise. It fears clarity. It fears consistency. It fears someone who cannot be easily manipulated. You don't have to say much. You don't have to prove anything. Your stability speaks for you. This is also why you've experienced sudden distance from people you once supported. When you stop feeding dysfunction, dysfunction leaves, not always quietly, sometimes resentfully. Do not chase what exits your life when you choose health. Another thing chosen ones struggle with is misplaced guilt. You feel responsible for how others feel around you. You wonder if you should shrink, soften, explain, or apologize for simply being yourself. Release that burden. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are here to be aligned. Comfort without truth leads to stagnation. And God did not place you here to maintain stagnation. That said, let me ground this again. This is not about superiority. This is not about special treatment. This is about responsibility. Responsibility to remain humble, to remain kind, to remain teachable. Recognition does not mean exemption from correction. If anything, it means greater accountability. You will notice that the more aligned you become, the less tolerance you have for drama. Not because you are cold, but because you value peace. And peace becomes sacred to you. People who thrive on chaos sense this quickly, and they either adjust or exit. Both outcomes are protection. Another subtle way they know who you are is how often people confide in you unexpectedly. They tell you things they didn't plan to say. They trust you with vulnerabilities you didn't ask for. This is not coincidence. Your presence feels safe. Safety is a form of authority. And authority, when carried with humility, is rare. But chosen one, hear me carefully now. Do not let recognition inflate you. Ego is the fastest way to lose clarity. Stay grounded. Stay curious. Stay soft in heart. You are not here to intimidate the world. You are here to steady it. Let God manage exposure. Let God handle opposition. Your role is simple, but not easy. Remain aligned. Remain observant. Remain compassionate without self-betrayal. They may know who you are, but you don't need to rush remembering. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. There is another layer to this recognition that often goes unnoticed, chosen one. It shows up in how people project onto you. They assign intentions you never had. They assume strength means invulnerability. They expect you to carry more, endure more, explain more. This projection can feel heavy, and if you are not careful, you will internalize expectations that were never yours to bear. People sense your capacity, but they do not always respect your limits. So they lean, they take, they rely, and sometimes they resent you for not saving them from themselves. This is why learning discernment is essential for you. Not everyone who is drawn to you is meant to stay. Attraction does not equal assignment. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say, "This is not mine to carry." Another quiet sign that they know who you are is how often people test your integrity. They invite you into compromise. They normalize behavior that feels off to you. They minimize values you take seriously. And every time you choose alignment over approval, something shifts. You may not see it immediately, but spiritually, you are reinforcing who you are becoming. Let me reassure you of something deeply important. Recognition does not mean exposure. Just because others sense something about you does not mean they can access it. God controls access. You are sealed, protected, covered. No one can take what was entrusted to you unless you willingly hand it over. And you are learning, slowly and wisely, to guard what is sacred. So when resistance appears, do not react emotionally. Pause, observe, pray. Let God reveal what is yours to address and what is yours to release. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding. You do not need to explain every silence. You do not need to fight every battle. The ones who truly see you will respect your peace, and the ones who don't were never meant to walk with you long term. Stay centered, stay humble, stay awake. God is guiding you more precisely than you realize. Signs your spirit remembers before your mind does. Chosen one, this is where many of you finally feel seen. Because even though your mind doesn't remember clearly, your spirit does not forget. It remembers quietly, subtly, in ways that show up in your emotions, your reactions, and your patterns long before they make sense logically. One of the clearest signs is that your reactions are often deeper than the situation appears to require. You don't just feel things lightly. Joy moves you. Injustice disturbs you. Kindness touches you deeply. And cruelty lingers in your mind longer than you want it to. This depth is not emotional weakness. It is spiritual sensitivity. Your spirit recognizes meaning where others see inconvenience. Another sign is your lifelong sense of not fully belonging. You can function anywhere, adapt to many environments, and connect with different kinds of people. Yet there is almost always a quiet sense that you are passing through rather than settling in. You make homes, but you don't cling to them. You form relationships, but you don't confuse them with your source. That sense of being in the world but not of it is not detachment. It is remembrance. You may have also noticed that you grow tired of things before others do. Trends, conversations, cycles of drama, shallow ambition. What excites people initially often loses its appeal for you quickly. Not because you are difficult to please, but because novelty does not sustain you. Substance does. Your spirit remembers substance. Another sign appears in how you respond to authority. You respect true authority. You respond well to leadership that is grounded, consistent, and just. But you resist authority that relies on fear, manipulation, or ego. Something in you stiffens when control replaces wisdom. This resistance is not rebellion. It is discernment. Your spirit knows the difference between alignment and domination. You may also notice that your intuition often precedes logic. You sense when something is about to change before evidence appears. You feel when a relationship is shifting before words are spoken. You know when to pause without being able to explain why. And more often than not, when you ignore that inner signal, you regret it. That inner signal is not imagination. It is memory surfacing as awareness. Another sign is the way you respond to suffering, both your own and others. You don't romanticize pain, but you don't run from it either. You try to understand it, to extract meaning, to grow through it. And while you may struggle, you rarely become cruel as a result. Suffering softens you instead of hardening you. That is not common. Your spirit remembers compassion that predates this lifetime. You may also feel an unexplainable pull toward healing roles, not necessarily professional roles, but relational ones. People talk to you, confide in you, seek your presence during difficult moments. Even strangers feel comfortable opening up. And while this can be draining, it also feels strangely natural. That's because your spirit remembers how to hold space. Another sign is your complicated relationship with time. You feel urgency about purpose, yet patience with process. You want things to matter, but you don't want to rush them. You feel late and early at the same time. This paradox frustrates you, but it exists because your spirit operates on a different rhythm than the world around you. You may also notice that you are deeply affected by truth. Not just factual truth, but emotional and spiritual truth. When someone speaks honestly, it resonates in your body. When someone lies, even subtly, something inside you recoils. This sensitivity can feel exhausting, but it is also protective. Your spirit remembers alignment, and misalignment feels loud to it. Another sign appears in your dreams, reflections, or quiet moments. Not necessarily vivid visions, but themes. Repetition, symbols, feelings that linger when you wake up. A sense that something is being communicated beyond words. Your spirit speaks when your mind is quiet. You may also struggle with self-doubt in a very specific way. Not the kind that says, "I am worthless," but the kind that says, "Am I doing enough? Am I living up to something I can't fully name?" That pressure does not come from insecurity alone. It comes from awareness without full context. Your spirit remembers responsibility, even if your mind doesn't remember the assignment. This is why you hold yourself to higher standards than others expect of you. Why mediocrity unsettles you. Not because you need perfection, but because you crave integrity. Another sign is how you handle endings. You don't cling excessively, but you grieve deeply. You let go when it's time, but you honor what was real. You don't erase history just to move forward. Your spirit remembers continuity. It values what was even as it steps into what is. You may also notice that you are drawn to spiritual truth that emphasizes transformation over performance. You resonate with teachings that invite inner change, not just outward behavior. You value sincerity more than spectacle. That preference comes from experience, not trend. Another sign is your discomfort with being idealized. Compliments are appreciated, but being put on a pedestal makes you uneasy. You know you are human. You know you are learning, and you don't want to be mistaken for something you are not. Humility comes naturally to you, not because you think little of yourself, but because you think honestly. Your spirit remembers service, not spotlight. You may also feel a deep longing for rest, not just physical rest, but soul rest. A desire to exhale, to be fully present, to live without constant striving. This longing is not laziness, it is memory. Your spirit remembers peace. And finally, one of the clearest signs is this. Despite everything you've been through, you are still open, still reflective, still willing to grow. You have not shut down completely. You have not become bitter beyond repair. That resilience is not accidental. It is remembrance expressed as hope. So if you see yourself in these signs, do not rush to label yourself. Do not demand answers immediately. Simply acknowledge what is already true. Your spirit is awake, your mind is catching up, and God is guiding the pace. You are not behind, you are becoming. And becoming, chosen one, is exactly where remembrance begins. What you must do before full remembrance comes. Chosen one, this part is not mystical, it is practical. And if you misunderstand it, you will either rush yourself or sabotage your own peace. Full remembrance is not a reward for curiosity. It is a responsibility given to those who are emotionally, spiritually, and morally prepared. Before God reveals more, He looks for stability. Let me say that slowly. God does not awaken power in unstable environments, and that environment is not just external, it is internal. Your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, your habits. Many chosen ones ask for clarity when what they truly need is grounding. The first thing you must learn before remembrance is emotional regulation, not emotional suppression, regulation. You must learn how to feel deeply without being ruled by what you feel. Your sensitivity is a gift, but unmanaged sensitivity becomes chaos. If every emotion pulls you off center, you are not ready to carry more awareness. This is why God has allowed situations that tested your patience, your forgiveness, and your self-control. Not to frustrate you, but to strengthen your inner structure. Revelation rests on discipline, not excitement. Another thing you must develop is humility without self-erasure. Humility does not mean shrinking, it means accuracy. Knowing your strengths without exaggeration, knowing your weaknesses without shame. God does not reveal identity to those who need validation from others. He reveals it to those who are secure enough to stand alone if necessary. You must also learn obedience without constant explanation. This is difficult for intelligent, reflective people like you. You want to understand the why. But faith matures when you can move without full clarity. Some instructions only make sense after you follow them. Another requirement before remembrance is releasing resentment. And I want to be clear here. This does not mean excusing harm. It means refusing to let past wounds define your posture toward the future. Resentment anchors you to moments that are no longer active, and God cannot move you forward while you are anchored backward. Forgiveness in this context is not about reconciliation. It is about freedom. You must also learn discernment without suspicion. There is a difference. Discernment observes calmly. Suspicion scans anxiously. Discernment trusts God to reveal. Suspicion tries to control outcomes. Chosen ones who rush remembrance often become fearful instead of grounded, and fear distorts perception. Another preparation point is rest. Yes, rest. Many of you underestimate how important rest is spiritually. Exhaustion blurs judgment. Burnout opens doors to confusion. God often delays revelation simply because you are tired. You cannot hear clearly when your nervous system is overwhelmed. This is why you are being called to simplify your life. Fewer distractions, fewer unnecessary obligations, fewer emotional entanglements that drain you. Stillness sharpens discernment. You must also learn to live without comparison. Comparison distorts identity. It makes you measure yourself against paths you were never meant to walk. And that creates either pride or discouragement. Your assignment is specific, and it unfolds in a specific rhythm. Another thing you must develop is consistency. Not intensity. Consistency. Intensity flares and fades. Consistency builds trust. God entrusts more to those who show up faithfully in ordinary moments, those who pray when it feels dry, those who choose integrity when no one notices, those who remain kind when it would be easier to withdraw. Consistency reveals character. You must also let go of the need to be understood. This is a difficult one. You want people to see your heart, to understand your intentions, to recognize your sincerity. But full remembrance often requires privacy. God reveals in secret before he ever reveals in public, and not everyone is meant to understand you in every season. Another preparation is learning how to respond instead of react. Reaction is impulsive. Response is intentional. Reaction is emotional. Response is anchored. You are being trained to pause, to breathe, to reflect. That pause is not weakness, it is authority. Authority is calm under pressure. You must also learn to hold truth without weaponizing it. Knowing more does not give you the right to correct everyone. Wisdom chooses timing. Wisdom chooses tone. Wisdom knows when silence speaks louder than words. This is why God delays remembrance in people who crave control. Control masquerades as confidence, but reveals insecurity. You are learning trust. One of the most important preparations is surrendering timelines. You want to know when. God wants to know if you will trust him without knowing when. Impatience creates spiritual strain. Patience creates alignment. And alignment is what unlocks remembrance naturally, not forcefully. Let me reassure you of something important. You are not failing because you don't remember yet. You are not delayed because you are slow. You are not unworthy because you still have questions. You are in process, and process is not punishment, it is protection. Before full remembrance comes, your life will become quieter internally, even if it remains busy externally. You will feel less urgency to prove, less pressure to perform, less anxiety about being seen. Peace is the final preparation. When remembrance comes, it will not overwhelm you. It will not inflate you. It will steady you. And God will not rush that moment, because once you remember more, there is no going back. So stay grounded, stay humble, stay faithful. You are being prepared, not postponed. And the preparation itself is already shaping you into someone who can carry what is coming, with grace, clarity, and restraint. Conclusion: you are not lost, you are protected. Chosen one, let me leave you with this truth, and let it settle gently into your spirit. You are not lost, you were never lost. What you call confusion was protection. What you call delay was preparation. And what you call forgetting was mercy. God did not remove your memory to weaken you. He covered it to preserve you. Because what you carry is sacred, and sacred things are revealed in the right time, not the rushed time. You are not behind. You are not late. You have not missed your purpose. Even on the days you felt disconnected, tired, or unsure, your spirit was still walking forward, quietly, faithfully, exactly as intended. You do not need to force remembrance. You do not need to chase revelation. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. God knows who you are. Heaven knows who you are. And when the moment is right, you will know too. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily, safely, and with peace. Until then, your role is simple. Stay grounded, stay humble, stay close to God. Let peace become your compass instead of urgency. Let trust replace pressure. Remember this: you were chosen because you could carry responsibility without pride. You were sent because you could walk by faith without full sight. And you are protected because God finishes what He starts. If this message spoke to you, chosen one, take a moment now to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this reassurance. And comment 777 below, not for me, but as a declaration that you are aligned, protected, and trusting God's timing completely. Rest now. You are exactly where you need to be.